First breath I took a life too surreal. Second breath I took was the pivot and strike, finish the kill. Influenced by might, with every sentence reveal. I won't pay back, fuck the dollar bill. Remain calm as the pressure build. Gotta endure until I let this pump whistle at my foes in memory of Emmett Till. I only live to do my master's will. I.S.U.P.K, motherfucker. Ain't no cowards on this battlefield. Gone astray but made greater. In my return, left to my mistakes. Every error was a lesson learned. Now I don't move, let's it get approved. Won't take a step till it get confirmed. Armed and tape, it was made for our sakes. March like a tank, one step will make the ground shake. My people sick in their head, Lord, let this truth spread like an outbreak and bring hell at them crackers can't escape. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. I want payback for the scars in the slave memoirs. Till Christ arrive, I can't let it slide. Ignore the lies, the only free will that's before your eyes. It's life or death, nigga, you decide. This heaven was made for me and my fellow. I patiently wait with my eyes on the sparrow. And I pull the trigger while my lips kiss the barrel. Before I ever let a white bitch do me like Othello. I want out this wicked life like Romello. By any means, this devil pulling strings like Geppetto. Lay hold on this brotherhood, I swear I never let go. And fuck that silver spoon, got too much love for the ghetto. Till the score settle, with need be, I die for the cause. Just to hear them angels applaud. And I'm true by every word I say. Cause I know my victory on the way. You want it? Nigga, walk this way. This life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. And could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? Cause it's real, I be walking with them angels. Boy, this life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with them angels. Boy, I can't be touched. Can't do in the clutch. They hate but they can't doubt us. We princes of the power, what you know about us? Evil all around us, but a nigga straight, I told you I can't be touched. Only angels walk at my pace. And I'm grateful for the words that had me delivered. I'm hungry for the glory, but I ain't eating till I feed my necks. One West, what I die for. Attire out the book of numbers, this rifle from the Archangel Michael. My niggas rebels, you can't deny them. It's 144, I be running to and fro with the Allah higher. My UPK soldiers ain't no folding or pretending. We in it for the crowns, fuck friends, we want dominion. In the election ascension, I hope I make it through. Give a damn what a bitch think, as long as my niggas know I'm true. Betray your kind to get success. We make it through the eye of the needle, nigga. I be his life may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. And could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with them angels. Boy, I can't may be hard, but I can't give up. On my nigga hard, and I won't give up. Could you tell me about this God that you feel so much? And why you look so tough? It's real, I be walking with them angels. Boy, I can't be touched.
Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. Her dad don't like me cause I'm black. But she Hispanic so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. I can't fight the cops and the ops. Stolen blocks, I be on the block. While the crack tucked in the sock. It's to help the ones I love. We was on the block for the grub. If you from my side, then it's love. Wanted big nuts, busting out the jeans, but we was hurting all the fiends. Without that crack, he look just like me. Dirty nigga from the concrete, but the white man dealt his hand. So we eating out the trash can. People ride by, don't extend a hand, cause to them, this an average black man. So for him, that's why I gotta make it. I ain't talking rap. Before the slave ships, I'm one of a kind. Y'all can't take it. I can never leave my spot vacant, cause I'm black. I see crowns and I take it, cause I'm black. I never been in no spaceship, but I know a UFO when I see it. I know that it's gonna come when I need it. I put faith in God more than Bible reading, cause I don't play that shit. Address him when you see him. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. My dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. My dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Learn to flip pennies cause I'm black. Know about semis cause I'm black. Yeah, in the hood we was strapped 10 toes down, we wear sacks. Substitute Israelite with black, and you gotta guess where I'm at. I be with the priest chilling hard, right on Malcolm X Boulevard. To you niggas, to me the stars. Everything about my life is hard, but I'll never fold, play my cards. You want beef? What's the cause? Watch your mouth, I hit hard. Back up for you need gauze. Everything you say mad pause. Every move I make is within them laws, and I've been the boss cause it's beneficial. Ask the enemy, I've been official. If not for weed, I've been the official. Homie, I understand why you smoke. Been depressed since slave boats, but the Bible is the cheat code. Far as blunts don't need those. Brotherhood is life's cheat code. Like cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. My dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. My dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. I don't gotta buy J's cause I'm black. I don't play 2K just cause I'm black. Fought my whole life cause I'm black, but I left his eye blue and black. Ain't got a trap cause I'm black. Ain't got not one face tat, but I'm still getting profile, cause I fit these crackers profile. Scruffy beard with the dark skin, baggy sweats with the butter Timbs, so they know they can't butter him, so they rather jail cell muzzle him. If you touching him, and you comfort him, cause I'm a law keeper, a peace bringer, no tranquility, a peace bringer. Deuce in the street sweeper, cups clip, I be spicing shit, but gunned I would die in the icy wrist, that showed in my chest ain't for blocking shit. Touch me, I'm all on you blocking shit, cause I'm black, you think I gotta cock the fifth? Well, that's a stereotype, that's accurate, cause crackers laying niggas in these cold streets, and then tell my brother he got a beef for me. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black, ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. My dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. Cops wanna kill me cause I'm black. Ops wanna drill me cause I'm black. Can't get no job cause I'm black. She wanna fuck me cause I'm black. My dad don't like me cause I'm black, but she Hispanic, so she black. Ain't got no time for none of that. Bitch, I'm a Jude, so I'm black. So I'm black.
Pick your Afro daddy, because
prepare slaughter. We bout to bombard their whole operation. Certified priest, prophesying this my occupation. This shit outrageous. They done made the truth docile. That's why Now we on the corner crying aloud, looking hostile. I.S.U.P.K style, can't stop now. Find this warfare, couldn't last one round. Let the oppressed rise, and let the rich mourn till the sundown. Enough with this shit, about to make it hot, call it compound. This for my niggas, put the guns in the drums down. Dwelling in peace till the Lord call for the bloodhounds. Try to decide my death and got beside yourself. Swore drawn for what you perform, how you gon' hide yourself? Devil got to die for his lies and his dreams. I ain't got no love for them crackers, nah, just cruel intentions. And in my father's house is spinning mansions. I got plenty bitches for the Avengers. This your death sentence. I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise and fill the world with lies. Ain't down for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. That's why I'm talking to you. So warn for your life, try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear, till the devil's done the end is still. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah. Now they shook from vicious words out this handbook. About to take these rappers back to school. My flow said the hook. They crossed the line, ain't no coming back. You became no cowards. The only thing sweet is the honey jet. Righteous is the Lord. Give me rest from my sorrow and hand down death for them devils. There's no tomorrow. Why? Cause they violence leave a man a stiff corpse. You see a flag in the bench, I see horns in a pitchfork. Go ahead. So please believe it. The white man is a demon, and I ain't gon' vote for them to free me. No. They beat us to weep. The color purple, that's why this knife till they broke like ceiling. You got this nigga on his knees. They wanna have peace. We screaming, let this bitch burn at 1,000 degrees. I'm laying in the bosom of revenge. I told her I'd do anything she please as I squeeze on the double D's. Fuck you, man. I'm talking to you. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise. Go in and fill the world with lies. Ain't down for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. That's why I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear, till the devil's done the end is still. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah.
The police just shot him for no apparent reason. No reason at all. They asked for license and registration. That's the police officer over there that did it. With the black on. I can't really do shit because they got me handcuffed. I can't believe they just did this. I'm fucking back!
It's okay, I'm right here with you.
Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah, slaughter. That they do not rise. Go in and fill the world with lies. Ain't down for your skin, you gon' die for your crime. That's why I'm talking to you. So warn for your life. Try to destroy my people. You gotta pay the price, nigga. You gotta hear, let them hear, till the devil's done the end is still. Slaughter, yeah, slaughter, yeah.
Good, Captain Y'all was rocking down good with you. Hey, man, you know, I've been bumping that motherfucker one way till they bury me, man. I just wanna let you know. Listen to these other niggas, man. These niggas ain't fucking with you, bro. You motherfucking bars, you spitting that real shit you dropping. That's what niggas need the motherfucking hip hop right now. All these niggas talking about this motherfucking popping mine and getting wet. These niggas loving top, man. Fuck all that bullshit, man. You a real motherfucking nigga. Keep dropping that real shit, and niggas gonna get on with that shit. Niggas need to get their boots laced up. Niggas need to get their motherfucking fringes, grow that beard out. Niggas need that soldier shit. You bringing that motherfucking shit, man. Keep laying that shit down. You understand? Because right now, we need real niggas, and you the last real nigga left. My nigga, Capstone War. One West till they bury me. Y'all already know what it is. And the rest of you bitch ass niggas out there, fuck.
I don't want no smoke. 7:30, 1 West. They don't want no problems.
They don't want no smoke. What I tell them? Fuck em. Pull up to their show. What you tell them? Fuck em. Hit them with the foe. What we tell them? Fuck em. They don't want no problem. They don't want no smoke. What I tell them? Fuck em. Pull up to their show. What you tell them? Fuck em. Hit them with the foe. What we tell them? Fuck em. They don't want no problem. You know my motto is fuck 'em, that's all I gotta say. Scope on the rifle that'll spot you from a mile away. Still getting women drunk off Hennessy and Alizé. Still with them niggas loading hollow tips inside the cake. Still be on that same shit, but I kinda change with multiplying bitches. Might not see me with the same bitch, but you might see me riding 95 North in the black Mitsubishi 195 horse. Power with no sour, couple bottles there, of course. R.I.P. to all my fallen riders in the morgue. Yeah, you know I got the juice, know I got the sauce. And then Superfly, pull a fatty in the Porsche. I don't need a molly just to pop her out of drawers. Shorty getting naked cause she know that I'm the ball. Ready for that drama, man, I'm ready for the war. If he talking reckless, he don't really love his jaw. Fuck him to the DA, fuck him to the law. Fuck them cause they got my brother stuck behind them bars. Fuck them to the PD, fuck them to the force. Fuck them to the haters just without the intercourse. They don't want no smoke. What I tell them? Fuck them. Pull up to their show. What you tell them? Fuck them. Hit them with the foe. What we tell them? Fuck them. They don't want no problem. They don't want no smoke. What I tell them? Fuck them. Pull up to their show. What you tell them? Fuck them. Hit them with the foe. What we tell them? Fuck them. They don't want no problem. We got tons of guns, don't make us use it. Doing something stupid, resulting you being toothless. Getting broad topless in the whip like it's ruthless. Like my girl's chocolate with the chips, so she useless. Always been the nigga that's too big for the Gucci. Long as I got enough from the squeeze in the Thule. Couple extra clips, edit scenes from your movie. Step up in the club, ready, smelling like a brewery. Then I mix the frankincense, keep the aroma. Hebrew fresh to death, you in a coma. Shit, you just a player in the game, I'm the owner. Bitches call me, but for you don't pick the phone up. Niggas talking childish shit, I'm a grown up. New for a while, I'm sick, keep me throwing up. Keep guns on every floor of my house. Yeah, you might make it in, but you ain't making it out. It's kinda like you got a bullseye taped to your scalp. It's like you walking through the jungle, but the lions is out. UPK been them niggas, what you lying about? The generals that get a word, I punch you right in your mouth, nigga. They don't want no smoke. What I tell them? Fuck em. Pull up to their show. What you tell them? Fuck em. Hit them with the foe. What we tell them? Fuck em. They don't want no problem. They don't want no smoke. What I tell them? Fuck em. Pull up to their show. What you tell them? Fuck em. Hit them with the foe. What we tell them? Fuck em. They don't want no problem. They don't want no problem. Fuck em. They don't want no problem. Fuck em. They don't want no problem. They don't want no.
UPK, O1 West. Babylon is falling to rise no more again. Babylon is falling. Freedom is here, my friend, not just part of the nation. Yeah, our shine never come bring peace in start of the vision. No put your them with precision. I just part of the nation. Daniel get a vision. Him see the black Christ, it wasn't a white depiction. No allegiance to Rome nor its regions. Come out them religion if you want be a free man. Cause the deacons them full of demons. Same situation with Rasta with Islam. Holy beacon of hope for your lean on I.S.U.P.K and the General YAHANNA. Every fowl of the ear, every beast of the field, every creeping thing we creep on land, every mouth of the clear, loud and clear. Yahweh Shai Mashiach is a black man who have ear, let him hear. Time to prepare, spiritually separate from Babylon. We no weak, we no fear, we no tear. Bun Saddam, my bun Batman are just part of the nation. Yahweh Shai never come bring peace in start of the vision. No put your trust in the riches and wealth, guns are ammunition. Adjust the law, statutes and commandments. We make the decision to keep them with precision. Just part of the nation. Send evils and curses on the whole city and the beasts and all churches. America fall, them deserve it. Rome get defeat, history repeat, I know the first days. Hey, 400 years of work with, then desert with, then turn round and call we worthless. But now the COVID lurking, them hurting, and them need doctors and nurses. Hey, one day to building off a turn after the long journey. No care much money you a earn if you still want Babylon burn. One day to building off a turn after the long journey. No care much money you a earn. Hey, I just part of the mission. Yahweh Shai never come bring peace in start of the vision. No put your trust in the riches and wealth, guns are ammunition. Adjust the law, statutes and commandments. We make the decision to keep them with precision. Adjust part of the mission.
Shalom. This is the U.S. Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I.S.U.P.K today is run by Commanding General YAHANNA, man with the rank and the authority to be the leader of Black Hispanics, Native Americans. I want to say, Bashim Yoshai Brakata to the brothers, Yahweh Shama Anatan Bashim Yoshai to the sisters. Welcome to a Wednesday evening law class. All right, so topic today now, we're talking about being zealous for the Most High. Being zealous for the Most High. I'll be zealous for God, be zealous for Yahweh. There have been some Israelites in the Bible who have displayed zealousness or being zealous for the Most High, display some amount of zeal. And the scripture even tells us that Christ gonna come and display that zeal for Christ, for the Most High. Now, in displaying that zeal, it means basically putting away the ungodly things out of your life. Right? Back in the day when we had the power and our kings and rulers would display a zeal for the Most High, they would get rid of all the other religions that pop up within the country.
God.
But, you know, we don't have the authority today if you come tell a man, say, you know, you can't do this and you can't do that and enforce any law. So your zeal now has to be you taking out all the ungodly things out of your personal life. Right? All right. So big question now is, what does it mean to have a zeal? You can find the meaning for that word.
Another one can. Zeal, great energy or enthusiasm in pursuit of a cause or an objective.
All right. Great what?
Great energy
Right.
or enthusiasm.
Great energy and enthusiasm or enthusiasm to get something done. All right. So when you decide now that I want nothing in my life that God doesn't want, I want nothing unlawful in my life, and you go through the laws and you try eliminate unlawful things from your life, that is you showing a zeal. Yeah, including the people too, in unlawful people or people who would have caused you to break the law. And back in the days when we were at Jerusalem, it was no different. We were living the life, we were setting the example. We were setting the example of doing the right. We were also setting the example of doing what was wrong too. But you know, what we're looking at today now, we're looking at example that was set in doing the right. And we saw where examples were set by various kings. We had various kings that set some example, both in the northern and in the southern kingdom. All right, take me to 2 Kings 8.
Another one can. This is the book of 2 Kings chapter 8, verse 1. Then spake Elisha unto the woman whose son he had restored to life, saying, Arise and go thou and thine household, and sojourn wheresoever thou canst sojourn. For the Lord has called for a famine, and it shall also come upon the land 7 years.
Now this woman was, in the scriptures, is known as the Shunammite woman. Who
God.
this was a woman who, because she had a zeal for God, when she met Elisha and realized that Elisha from time to time passed through her town, she went ahead, consulted with her husband, and built a room for Elisha to stay, so that the man of God can have somewhere to stay while he was in that area. And of course, if she provided a house, you know that she would cook for him and all those things. Now, all that can only happen because of a zeal for the Most High, a zeal for God. Because, I mean, Elisha by himself, what would she care about Elisha by himself? But Elijah was a man of Elijah. What I say again? Elisha, right? Elisha was a man of God doing God's work, and one that all those who were zealous for God during that time knew of Elisha, knew of the works he did, and so on. Just like today, those who are zealous for God, showing the proper zeal for God and being in the truth. You all know about commanding General YAHANNA, right? You all know about the breakaways who, you know, stop showing zeal and going after filthy lucre and going after the money, and has gone off to, you know, start their own truth. I can't call it no more than that. It's like they start their own truth. But this woman put her life under the guidance of Elisha. And because she did that, you know, this is like, think of you fighting a war and you get a heads up on the enemy as to the enemy's next move. And you know that the enemy is going to come in this place. So I should not go there. And from time to time, several times the Most High has given his people this kind of intelligence. You know, he did it with Christ, he did it with others, and here now Elisha is doing it with this woman who has taken care of him over the time. So Elisha let her know that, hey, God is going to is calling for a famine. The Most High want a famine. So a famine is going to come into this country. So anywhere you can go, just go. And, you know, it saved not only her, but her entire household. She could carry her husband and her son. And guess what? If she had any good friends, she could carry them too. Right? Because the famine here was to last 7 years. Damn, you can imagine a 7-year famine come upon Jamaica.
God.
No matter about Mexican border, the Mexican border, they would have thought Jamaica border.
God.
Millions of Jamaicans over that wall. They find we go over the wall, man. Go Wall Street and do all kind of things. As a matter of fact, and find other points of entry. But the Shunammite woman here, she got an heads up. Verse 2.
Canada 1 can, verse 2. And the woman arose and did, and did after the saying of the man of God. And she went with her household and sojourned in the land of the Philistines 7 years.
Right. So she'd carry her household, whoever was her household. Meaning, probably she had, what I call them again? Maids, workers, whatever you call them. She had persons who work with her and help her. She carried her entire household going to the land of the Philistines and try and survive for 7 years. Verse 3.
Canada 1 can, verse 3. And it came to pass at the 7 years end that the woman returned out of the land of the Philistines. And she went forth to cry unto the king for her house and for her land.
Right, that means now probably her property was occupied by somebody else.
God.
Or the famine normally come with drought. Normally, you don't have a famine if you're having rain, right? So for you to really have a famine, you have to have drought. And we know how terrible drought. As a matter of fact, the longest drought I experienced in Jamaica here was 9 months. And it was terrible. Yeah. Almost all towns start to have scheduled water lock off because in just 9 months, you know, and it was affected, especially Kingston, which depend on rainfall to flow water to the Mona Dam. And what do you think happened? they have to, you know, start locking off water at certain times. And I remember they used to tell you, they used to put on the news that you can't use water for washing your vehicle.
Gone.
Right. You can't use water for water in your garden and so. They had to put out restrictions on what you can use the water for. And mind you, it was really just a suggestion, because not to say that anybody would get locked up if they catch you using the water washing your car. It wasn't law. But so as to get everybody to comply with this water shortage, they were telling people what to do with the water. As a matter of fact, I think they even in the ad they even tell you how to brush your teeth. they say, don't keep the water running while you're brushing your teeth. Brush your teeth and turn off the they would say, wet your toothbrush, turn off the pipe. They even tell you how to wash your hands with the water. That was how terrible it was. And that was just 9 months. So imagine having that drought for 7 years. Yeah. So what the Most High did, this woman was a zealous for the Most High. So the Most High gave her the heads up and said, Jota, come here at. Leave the spot. Because I have some people over here, so I want to bust their ass. And that time is coming around again, where the Most High will be telling those of us who have a zeal for him what to do and when to do it. Continue.
Another one gun. Verse 4. And the king talked with Gehazi, the servant of the man of God, saying, tell me, I pray thee, all the great things that Elisha has done.
And the Most High just put it in the king's heart to ask Elisha's servant, right? The man who Gehazi, who right there beside Elisha, ask him to tell me some of the great things what Elisha do. And Gehazi was telling him about the Shunammite woman. And just as he was speaking, continue.
Another one can, verse 5. And it came to pass, as he was telling the king how he had restored a dead body to life, that behold, the woman whose son he had restored to life cried to the king for her house and for her land. And Gehazi said, my lord, O king, this is the woman, and this is her son, whom Elisha restored to life.
And there, before she, got the audience to go to the king, Gehazi was there telling him, the king, what was happening. So, Bops, she got the opportunity to go before the king. Just in time for Gehazi to say, but see the woman I was just telling you about. Continue.
Another one can, verse 6. And when the king asked the woman, she told him. So the king appointed unto her a certain officer, saying, restore all that was hers, and all she left the land. Slakia, the day that she left the land, even until now.
Hold on.
All
that
was
hers. Yeah, you skip out something there.
Okay. And all the fruits of the field since the day that she left the land, even until now.
Only God could get you in this favor, right? The king, automatically the king restore everything that she had before the famine. Because when Elisha told her to sojourn wherever she wanted to go because a famine is coming, she just get up and leave him. If she had acres of land, whatever was in the field, she would just take what she can carry and go and leave the others. probably the neighbors and others would ask, where you going? Why are you going X, Y, Z no? And the neighbors would be there saying, she gone, that means I can go and reap the field.
Right.
But the Most High have it so that she was restored after the 7 years famine. And we know why the famine would come on the land, because that was one of the punishment that the Most High would grant on us as a people when we are not keeping his laws, statutes, and commandments. He sent famine, he sent pestilence, all kind of those things. Those things happen when we are not keeping his laws. All right, verse 7.
Canada 1 gun, verse 7. And Elisha came to Damascus, and Ben-Hadad, the king of Syria, was sick. And it was told him, saying, the man of God is come hither. Verse 8. Canada 1 gun. And the king said unto Hazael, take a present in thine hand, and go meet the man of God, and inquire of the Lord by him, saying, shall I recover of this disease? Verse 9. So Hazael went to meet him, and took a present with him, even of every good thing of Damascus, 40 camels burden, and came and stood before him, and said, thy son Ben-Hadad, king of Syria, has sent me to thee, saying, shall I recover of this disease?
You see, this was what the Most High wanted from us. We become an example right in the middle there to the countries that were about us. Right? And Elisha was so great and popular that the king of another country was sick and sent his servant with gifts, right? 40 camel load of gifts to give to Elisha, just to ask him if he would recover from his sickness.
Right.
The question is not to say heal me, no. The question is, will you recover? Will I recover from my sickness? I mean, you know, that is something that everyone would like to know still. You know, if you're sick, you would like to know if you want to recover, so that you can at least set your house in order.
Right.
Verse 9.
Canada 1 gun, verse 10. And Elisha said unto him, go, say unto him, thou mayest certainly recover. Albeit the Lord has shewed me that he shall surely die.
All right. Now, was Elisha telling him a lie? No, Elisha not really telling him something that wouldn't happen. Elisha said, tell him, say yes, him going to recover, but you know, God should really show me same how dead, you know. And Elisha wasn't telling him a lie, because read on and we see the way how he died.
Canada 1 gun, verse 11. And he settled his countenance steadfastly until he was ashamed, and the man of God wept. Verse 12. And Hazael said, why weepeth my Lord? And he answered, because I know the evil that thou wilt do unto the children of Israel. Their strongholds will thou set on fire, and their young men will thou slay with the sword, and will dash their children, and rip up their women with child. Verse 13.
You know, ripping the woman with child, you know what that is saying? Cut the belly open.
God.
Now this man who is standing in front of Elisha, the Most High show Elisha what this man is going to do in the future. It's really true that God make even the wicked for the day of evil, you know. You know,
Right.
because even today, you see that, and you know, God willing, just end him life right there, because he won't come kill half your people. But Elisha knew better. Elisha saw the Most High allow Elisha to see what was going to happen under this man. And this man wasn't the king, you know. Hazael wasn't the king. He was one of the king's servants.
Okay.
Probably one of his ministers as well. But anyway, a diplomat you send, the kings send out on missions like this. So he was one of the king's diplomats. All right, continue.
Canada 1 gun, verse 13. And Hazael said, but what is thy servant, a dog, that he should do this great thing? And Elisha answered, the Lord has shewed me that thou shalt be king over Syria.
Yeah, I got him 1 year now. You know. Wow. I'll be king. Continue.
Canada 1 gun, verse 14. So he departed from Elisha and came to his master, who said to him, what said Elisha to thee? And he answered, he told me that thou shouldest surely recover.
Exactly. And he would have recovered. 15.
Canada 1 gun, verse 15. And it came to pass on the morrow that he took a thick cloth and dipped it in water and spread it on his face, so that he died, and Hazael reigned in his stead.
All right, so he died of suffocation. So, you know, when you're sick and weak, you're not even able to pull air through a thick cloth soaked in water. As simple as that. Because he was sick, and you know, the sickness made him bedridden, which means that he was weak. But Hazael now, after him learns that him going to be king, couldn't wait until the king died natural death. He took the throne. He took it by force. 16.
Canada 1 gun, verse 16. And in the 5th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, Jehoshaphat, being then king of Judah, Jehoram, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Judah, began to reign.
Go on.
Verse 17. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 8 years in Jerusalem.
Right, so I'm just on the throne till him 40, till somebody kill him. 18.
Canada 1 gun, verse 18. And he walked in the way of the king of Israel, the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab. For the daughter of Ahab was his wife, and he did evil in the sight of the Lord.
Right, I will know what that evil is. When the most I talk about you doing evil in the sight of the Lord, usually idolatry. That's the biggest evil, because worshiping other idols is going to make you eat unclean meat. It's going to make you do a lot of things. Okay, I can say that he usurped the king. Indeed, he usurped the king. Where are we at now, verse 1?
Canada 1 gun, Slakia, verse
19?
18. Slakia 19, verse 19. Yet the Lord would not destroy Judah for David his servant's sake, as he promised him to give him always a light, and to his children.
Right. So that was one of the things that why our kingdom lasts as long as it did. Because the Moses had made a promise to David. Just that. And to Solomon. 20.
Another one can, verse 20. In his days, Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah and made a king over themselves.
21.
Verse 21. So Joram went over to Zair and all the chariots with him, and he rose by night and smote the Edomites, which compassed him about, and the captains of the chariots, and the people fled into their tents.
Right. So Edom, which is the white man, used to be ruled by the very Judites who are in America right now. The same ones who the cops are hunting and killing used to be the master of them very same white man that is doing the killing. Now, under King Joram of the southern kingdom, Edom set a king over themselves and start rebel against Judah. Now, all these rebellion against Judah was happening because Judah as in the southern kingdom, which we Benjamites were a part of, and half of Asians are Levite. Edom start revolt against Israel rulership. If we were walking in the laws, they couldn't revolt, so the Most High would have been on our side. Continue.
Another one can, verse 22. Yet Edom revolted from under the hand of Judah, and to this day. Then Libnah revolted at the same time.
23.
Verse 23. And the rest of the acts of Joram and all that he did, are they not written in the books of the chronicles of the kings of Judah?
24.
Verse 24. And Joram slept with his fathers and was buried with his fathers in the city of David. And Ahaziah, his son, reigned in his stead.
All right, so this is Joram now is a man who had no zeal for the Most High. He did not walk in the way of the Most High. He did not walk in the way of his grandfather, David. So the Most High allowed these things to happen. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 25. In the 12th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, king of Israel, did Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, begin to reign. Verse 26. 22 years old was Ahaziah when he began to reign, and he reigned 1 year in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Athaliah, the daughter of Omri, king of Israel.
Right. Omri was one of the kings who they all walk in the way of, I call him again,
Jeroboam.
Jeroboam. Right. Okay. 27.
Another one can, verse 27. And he walked in the way of the house of Ahab, and did evil in the sight of the Lord, as did the house of Ahab, for he was the son-in-law of the house of Ahab.
All right. So this now is telling about walking in the way of Ahab and not in the way of Jeroboam. What's the difference? The house of Ahab brought in Baal. Jeroboam brought in the golden calf. But they were both evil. But the house of Ahab was one. All right, it's like how the Christians, Rome used to go out and make what you call crusade, go out and try and conquer people by the sword. The house of Ahab did similar things because the house of Ahab, He was to kill out the prophets of the Most, sorry, the priests and prophets of the Most High. Continue.
Can one can. Verse 28. And he walked with Joram, the son of Ahab,
Went.
to war against. Went. Okay, Salakia. And he went with Joram, the son of Ahab, to the war against Hazael, king of Syria, in Ramoth Gilead, and the Syrians wounded Joram.
Right. So, because he was of the house of Ahab, the northern and the southern kingdom now under these two kings was not at war because they are from the same house. Because his mother was of the house of Ahab. So he was in-law. What is that? Son-in-law. He was the son-in-law of, no, sorry, his wife. His wife was of the house of
son-in-law to Ahab.
Right.
Yeah.
29.
Another one can, verse 29. And King Joram went back to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him at Ramah, when he fought against Hazael, king of Syria, and Ahaziah, the son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to see Joram, the son of Ahab, in Jezreel, because he was sick.
Right. Right. No, much of it was Jehoram and Joram. Just like Rehoboam and Jeroboam. Right. So the king of the northern kingdom, Joram, known as the king of Israel, was wounded in battle. And then Jehoram now went to see Joram, the son of Ahab, because he was wounded in battle. All right, next chapter, chapter 9.
Chapter 9. This is the book of 2 Kings, chapter 9 and verse 1. And Elisha the prophet called one of the children of the prophets and said unto him, Gird up thy loins and take this box of oil in thine hand and go to Ramoth Gilead.
All right, so basically, children of the prophet would be like you coming in the UPK. So we coming in the UPK now, we are children of the prophets.
Right.
Right? So, you know, think of General YAHANNA just giving one of the brothers in the school a task to go somewhere and do something which is a holy righteous work. Verse 2.
Verse 2. And when thou comest thither, look out there, Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, and go in and make him arise up from among his brethren and carry him to an inner chamber.
Right. So this man now given this task to go and anoint someone who was to be king. But I mean, think of General YAHANNA sending us to go and feed the hungry, feed and clothe the poor in some city. Right?
Right.
Similar works. Or same thing. But this task was to go and anoint somebody because he was given a box of oil. I'm sure you're not going in there to fry fish with Jehu. Right. Let's read on.
Verse 3. Then take the box of oil and pour it on his head and say, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel. Then open the door and flee and tarry not.
Right. Just anoint him and leave. You
God,
never
God.
know that the king, the man who is king presently, probably have friends there. Might want your head. So tarry not. Don't stick around, and hang around and have a drink and nothing. Call him, anoint him, and leave. Continue.
Another one can, verse 4. So young man, even the young man, the prophet, went to Ramoth Gilead. Verse 5.
Right.
And
So
when he
it's not like well, somebody, this is a young man following instruction. But this is not a young one like who say a young man in the UPK, Who is the man who is not even a trooper. This
right,
man was in the prophet. But young man here would be a young man who is young in body. Somebody who can move agile and go in, do him thing, and leave the spot quick. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 5. And when he came, behold, the captain of the host were sitting, and he said, I have an errand to thee, O captain. And Jehu said, And to which of all of us? And he said, To thee, O captain.
Right. So Jehu was the one in charge of the host. And he said, I have an errand unto thee, and said, which of us? All of us, or which of us? And so he said, to you, Jehu. Verse 6.
Another one can. Verse 6. And he arose and went into the house, and he poured the oil on his head, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, I have anointed thee king over the people of the Lord, even over Israel.
Right. So he call him one side and throw the oil and do the anointing. Next verse.
Another one can. Verse 7. And thou shalt smite the house of Ahab, thy master, that I may avenge the blood of my servants, the prophets, and the blood of all the servants of the Lord at the hand of Jezebel.
All right. So the Most High now choosing. So who say God don't seek revenge? Well, in Revelation, vengeance is mine, right? And right here now, the Most High is choosing somebody to be king who is going to come and revenge. When Jezebel killed about some 50 prophets of the Most High, priests and prophets of the Most High. The Most High don't forget that,
Right.
Continue.
Another one can. Verse 9. So,
8.
verse 8. Verse 8. For the whole house of Ahab shall perish, and I will cut off from Ahab him that pisseth against the wall, and him that is shut up and left in Israel.
Take away every man from Ahab's house, because your lineage follow the men. So if Ahab have any daughter, the daughter could be spared, but not the son, no matter how small him be. You say him that shut up, he could even sick. Get rid of him. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 9. And I will make the house of Ahab like the house of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, and like the house of Baasha, the son of Ahijah.
These were men who did lead the people astray again with idolatry.
Right.
The Most High swore against them. And the Most High swore against you, because when that revenge is coming about, your eyes won't even be open to behold it after you're dead gone. And you see that little lovely bundle of joy that you come from the hospital with. You're an evil person. You stay there. The most I want to kill him.
Right.
That lovely babe who you say, oh, he's so sweet and so cute and he's so innocent. That child come pay for some sin where he don't even know about. He wasn't even around when it was being committed. But the most I avenge on him. No, you want a more terrible person to deal with than that? And yet you don't fear not the most high. Nah, we don't understand what it is to have a good zeal, the proper zeal for the Most High. We don't understand it as a people. We think that having a zeal for God means going to church on Sunday or whichever day you want to go, Saturday or Sunday. You think that is having a zeal for God and talking about and singing and clapping and, you know, being by yourself and reading the Bible and oh, nobody can talk to me now. I read my Bible. What? That's what make you holy? Reading the Bible? So you read the Bible and then you're going to eat the pork. You read the Bible and then your birthday come up and yeah, I'm celebrating my birthday and eating some. Oh, my husband is taking me out for lobster. Or if you're a man, you say, oh, my wife is carrying me out to have lobster for my birthday. It's a double sin that, you know, because you're not supposed to be celebrating birthday and you're not supposed to be eating lobster. These are the things we do when we have money, you know, and believe say, God bless me with this money, you know. I want to do with it. Go and buy sin.
Right.
Verse 1.
Another one can verse verse 10.
Right.
Verse 10. And the dog shall eat Jezebel in the portion of Jezreel, and there shall be none to bury her. And he opened the door and fled.
Yeah, man. Just bless him and cut. That's the way it is. Verse 11.
Another one can verse 11. Then Jehu came forth to the servant of his Lord, and one said unto him, Is all well? Wherefore came this mad fellow to thee? And he said unto them, Ye know the man and his communication.
All right. Until this day, that's how the style we know. Yeah, man, in the truth, you know, you dress a certain way and thing. How does a man that look so? I mean, but Jehu, being smart, said, like when I say, oh, come on now, you know the man and his communication, so don't do that. Verse 12.
Another one can. Verse 12. And they said, Is it false? Tell us now.
It is.
Okay, can. It is false. Tell us now. And he said, Thus and thus spake he to me, saying, Thus saith the Lord, I have anointed thee king over Israel.
All right. So, first of all, then say, the man a madman. And now then say, a false thing he can't come tell you, you know. But Jehu says, well, him anoint me to be king over Israel. What's your next action now? Continue.
Another one can, verse 13. Then they hasted and took every man his garment and put it under him on the top of the stairs and blew with the trumpet, saying, Jehu is king.
Yet still, they do believe what that madman said about Jehu.
God.
That's why Jehu said to them, say, you know the man and the communication. But because they didn't know what it was now, they're trying to, you know, bring off a thing on Jehu. But Jehu smartly said, come on, you know the man and his communications. You know that whatever I come to do is of God. That's why Jehu get up and go to him. Because the priest and prophet from back then dress a certain way different from the regular people. So they don't really have to know the person, you know, but from when you see certain dressing, you know, one of the prophets. That
Right.
just like today, you see a certain dressing, UPK man that. And you see another kind of dressing, you say, one of the breakaways that.
Right.
That one of the fake Israelite group. Right. 14.
Another one can, verse 14. So Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, the son of Nimshi, conspired against Joram. Now Joram had kept Ramat Gilead, he and all Israel, because of Azael, king of Syria.
Right. So the Syrian them allow him as an idolater to keep Ramat Gilead. 15.
Another one can, verse 15. But King Joram was returned to be healed in Jezreel of the wounds which the Syrians had given him when he fought with Hazael, king of Syria. And Jehu said, if it be your mind, then let none go forth nor escape out of the city to go to tell it in Jezreel.
All right. If it was a day like today, social media would pick up that long time. When the trumpet blow and come home and back out the camera. What is happening here? And they would be saying, Jehu is king. What they were doing is proclaiming to the people that Jehu was anointed to be king. But Jehu now said, all right, since as you're all on my side, no man should leave here and go to Jezreel to let the king know that I was anointed king. Can't let him know. That is bad military intelligence.
Classified information.
Classified information that become now.
God.
That's why in faith like that. If it be your minds, then let none go forth. 16.
Another one can, verse 16. So Jehu rode in a chariot and went to Jezreel, for Joram lay there, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, was come down to see Joram.
Right. So his little idolater friend, the next king, come to visit him. Verse 17.
Another one can, verse 17. And there stood a watchman on the tower in Jezreel, and he spied the company of Jehu as he came, and said, I see a company. And Joram said, take an horseman and send to meet them, and let him say, is it peace?
All right, the king is in this city. Why is this military column approaching the city? Investigate and see if that's the man on Shamar, the man, the watchman there, and the wall and the tower. Yeah, that's the one that they place on Shamar to look in that particular direction. Anything approaching is supposed to see it from afar. So he spy a company coming. He spy a military column that is approaching the city that the king is in. So the king want to know if this column is coming in peace or it's for war. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 18. So there went one on horseback to meet him and said, thus said the king, is it peace? And Jehu said, what hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me. And the watchman told, saying, the messengers came to them, but he cometh not again.
Send out the messenger. Hey, and being a messenger is an easy task, because if that messenger was fully for the king and he turned back and when him say, what him say again? What What hast
What
thou to do
thou have
with
to do with peace?
peace? If him in turn and say, I'm going to go inform the king, then they shoot him down.
Done.
So, are you willing to give your life to alarm the king? To set the alarm for the king? Or do you want to spare your life and do what this man says?
Right.
Turn behind me. Well, anyway, him turn behind him. Continue. Turn
Canada
behind.
1 gun, verse 19. Then he sent out a second and I.S.U.P.K, which came to them and said, Thus saith the king, is it peace? And Jehu answered, What hast thou to do with peace? Turn thee behind me.
Right, the second one come out. Same thing. 20.
Verse 20. And the watchman told, said, He came even unto them, and cometh not again. And the driving is like the driving of Jehu, the son of Nimshi, for he driveth furiously.
Man, maybe this was where they get the movie from. Because Jehu was driving fast and furious, heading towards the city. And the watchman know how that captain operates. I'm saying, this looks like this like Jehu, you know, because so Jehu drive furiously, meaning that riding that he was in, because they were riding horses and chariots, that looked like they are coming to charge. You know, when you gallop into charge into battle.
Gun.
21.
Canada 1 gun, verse 21. And Joram said, Make ready. And his chariots was made ready. And Joram, king of Israel, and Ahaziah, king of Judah, went out, each in his chariot. And they went out against Jehu, and met him in the portion of Nabat, the Jezreelite.
All right. So the king himself now, both king went out to meet him, because really and truly Jehu is the king's captain. So let me go out and meet my captain, see what he's up to. 22.
Canada 1 gun, verse 22. And it came to pass when Joram saw Jehu, that he said, Is it peace, Jehu? And he answered, What peace, so long as the whoredom of thy mother Jezebel and her witchcraft are so many?
Right. So the witchcraft of Jezebel, this is not witchcraft like, you know, magic potions and them kind of things that you see the Esau show in the movies. That's not what it is. Witchcraft here, right here, was what was keeping the people mesmerized and keep them in the house of Baal. You know, things like, you know, Baal was this and Baal can do that for you, and just like in the church when you know the solemn, or they can use the various scale and the music scale, various notes and the music scale to bring about the mood that they want, and then you in there now believing this is of God. But which way it is just the work of man. It is witchcraft. Or, well, no, yeah, the drug dealer is witchcraft too, but this kind of witchcraft now was that kind that was able to mesmerize you and keep you under Baal. Because what happened? Elijah had already called fire out of heaven and proved, show to the people them say, Baal is foolishness. But they did not get rid of Baal. So the witchcraft was strong under Baal. 23.
Canada 1 gun, verse 23. And Joram turned his hands and fled and said to Ahaziah, Here is treachery, O Ahaziah.
24.
Verse 20, Verse 24, and Jehu drew a bow with his full strength and smote Jehoram between his arms, and the arrow went out at his heart, and he sunk down in his chariot. Verse 25.
You know, today you pull a trigger and shoot somebody and they come out and exit 3 yards. You can see that the gun was designed like that. But back in them time, if you shot an arrow like that, damn, you are a real strong person.
Right.
What? Right through him and fly out through him hard. Kill the king. 25.
Gun, verse 25. Then said Jehu to Bidkar, his captain, take up and cast him in the portion of the field of Nabat, the Jezreelite. For remember, oh, that when I and thou rode together after Ahab, his father, the Lord laid his burden upon him.
This burden.
His burden upon him.
26.
Gun, verse 26. Surely I have seen yesterday the blood of Nabat and the blood of his sons, saith the Lord, and I will requite thee in this plot, saith the Lord. Now therefore take and cast him into the plot of ground according to the word of the Lord.
All right. So Jehu now was fulfilling God's word. And he was eager to do it. He was beginning now to show some zeal
God.
in fighting for the Most High. 27.
Gun. Verse 27. But when Ahaziah, the king of Judah, saw this, he fled by the way of the garden house. And Jehu followed after him and said, smite him also in the chariot. And they did so at the going up to Ger, which is by Ibleam. And he fled to Megiddo and died there.
So them arrow him in the arrow or spear, clap him in the chariot, and he fled to somewhere else and died somewhere else. But he too was a son of idolatry.
Right.
So they who showing the zeal of God was getting out those who was at the helm of idolatry over God's people. That is showing a zeal for the Most High. Verse 28.
Gun, verse 28. And his servants carried him in a chariot to Jerusalem and buried him in his sepulchre with his fathers in the city of David.
Right. So he was buried. He reached back to his homeland to be buried, unlike Jehoram. Continue.
Gun, verse 29. And in the 11th year of Joram, the son of Ahab, began Ahaziah to reign over Judah.
Right. So
Verse
Joram was the one thrown in the field of Nabat. That was how Jezebel and Ahab conspire and kill off Nabat and take her in place. So the Most High said, because of this, you're going to do the same thing. 30.
Gun, verse 30. And when Jehu was come to Jezreel, Jezebel heard of it, and she painted her face and tired her head and looked out of a window.
And so just change up our face now. Probably doing that like, as a little disguise. And now she hear that this man now coming is out for revenge. 31.
Gun, verse 31. And as Jehu entered into Slakia in at the gate, she said, at Zimri peace, who slew his master.
At Zimri peace, who slew his master. All right, so Zimri was one of them who did kill on king too. All right, 32.
Verse 32. And he lifted up his face to the window and said, Who is on my side? Who? And there looked out to him 2 or 3 eunuchs.
Right. So the eunuch them that was around, what's your name? Jezebel. Was a, who is on my side now? And the eunuchs look out. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 33. And he said, Throw her down. So they threw her down. And some of her blood was sprinkled on the wall and on the horses. And he trod her underfoot.
So, I mean, those were men who around Jezebel and obviously would have seen the wicked. Jezebel was a wicked woman.
Right.
She was a real daughter of Belial, man. And she did nothing according to the will of God. No doubt, he probably treating those eunuchs like nothing. Okay, so fast them just push her out through the window. All right. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 34. And when he was come in, he did eat and drink and said, Go, see now this cursed woman and bury her, for she is a king's daughter.
All right, that was Jezebel. All right, go and go bury Jezebel now. She was the king's daughter. 35.
Another one can. Verse 35. And they went to bury her, but they found no more of her than the skull and the feet and the palms of her hands.
Right, because the horses trampled her. And moreover, when she fell from the window, some bursting take place there because blood spilled. And then the horses trampled most of her. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 37. And the carcass of Jezebel shall be Slakia.
36.
Verse 36. Wherefore they came again and told him, and he said, This is the word of the Lord, which he spake by his servant Elijah the Tishbite, saying, In the portion of Jezreel shall dogs eat the flesh of Jezebel. Verse 37. And the carcass of Jezebel shall be as dung upon the face of the field in the portion of Jezreel, so that they shall not say, This is Jezebel.
Right. So she was wicked against the Most High, and she's not an Israelite,
Right.
Most High kill her. All right, that is 9, 10.
Another one can. This is the book of 2 Kings chapter 10 and verse 1. And Ahab had 70 sons in Samaria, and Jehu wrote letters and sent to Samaria and to the rulers of Jezreel, to the elders and to them that brought up Ahab's children, saying, verse 2, now as soon as
70 picking Ahab.
God.
Yeah. Now this man wasn't wasting time. That's a lot to your lines, man. But that 70 son alone is an army,
Right.
Yet they could not stand. Continue.
Another one can. Verse 2. Now as soon as this letter cometh to you, seeing your master's son are with you, and there are with you chariots and horses, a fenced city also, and armor.
3.
Verse 3. Look, Slakia. Verse 3. Yeah, hear me, sir?
Can.
Okay, can. Verse 3. Look even out the best and meetest of your master's sons, and set him on his father's throne, and fight for your master's house.
Yeah, look out, choose his best son and put on the throne and fight for your master's house.
Good.
Verse 4.
Another one, gun, verse 4. But they were exceedingly afraid, and said, Behold, 2 kings stood not before him. How then will we stand?
How then shall we stand?
How then shall we stand? Gun.
Right. 2 experienced king you kill in one day. Now that was one of the reasons why they got fearful of him, you know. They kill 2 kings, assassinate 2 kings in one day. But that's how the Most High wanted it, yeah? Continue.
Another one, gun, verse 5. And he that was over the house, and he that was over the city, the elders also, and the bringers up of the children, sent to Jehu, saying, We are thy servants, and will do all that thou shalt bid us. We will not make any king. Do thou that which is good in thine eyes.
All right, verse 6.
Verse 6. Then he wrote a letter the second time to them, saying, If ye be mine, and if ye will hearken unto my voice, take ye the heads of the men, your master's sons, and come to me to Jezreel by tomorrow this time. Now the king's sons, being 70 persons, were with the great men of the city, which brought them up.
Right, so these were 70 sons that were weren't growing on the roadside, you know. They were growing among nobles. They were growing with the great men of the city because they were royalty. They were the king's sons. Continue.
Another one, gun. Verse
7.
Verse 7. And it came to pass, when the letter came to them, that they took the king's son and slew them. Slew 70 persons, and put their heads in baskets, and sent him them to Jezreel.
Lord have mercy. 70 head in a basket to Jehu. Well, that's how terrible we're ruling, you know, man.
Gun.
Go on.
Another one, gun, verse 8. And there came a messenger and told him, saying, They have brought the heads of the king's sons. And he said, Lay ye them in 2 heaps at the entering in of the gate until the morning.
No, boy, trust me, this is a style, this gangsterism right here, so which I don't think has ever repeated.
Right.
70 princes, they pile up their heads in 2 heaps. I'm saying you pile them up on either side of the road in entering into the city, you know, at the city gate. Go on.
Another one, gun. Verse 9. And it came to pass in the morning that he went out and stood and said to all the people, Ye be righteous. Behold, I conspired against my master and slew him. But who slew all these? Verse 10.
Go on. I slew the king, but who killed all them 70 people here? Go on.
Another one, gun, verse 10. Know now that there shall fall unto the earth nothing of the word of the Lord, which the Lord spake concerning the house of Ahab. For the Lord has done that which he spake by his servant Elijah.
So it was a common thing. The people knew what Elijah had said, and they knew that it was to come. So now that they are seeing it, Jehu said, no, none of God's word fall to the earth. So what I am doing is fulfilling God's word.
Right.
Right, so Jehu was showing that zeal that is required. Continue.
Another one can, verse 11. So Jehu slew all that remained of the house of Ahab in Jezreel, and all his great men, and his kingfolk, and his priests, until he left him none remaining.
No, that is that's like genocide, you know.
Right.
You kill. It's like you kill out everything that belong to the kingdom, because you're setting up something with more righteousness.
Right.
Or so he thinks. Continue.
Another one can, verse 12. And he arose and departed and came to Samaria. And as he was at the shearing house in the way, verse 13.
Mm-hmm. $13.
Salakia, sir, you hear me?
Can. 13.
All right, but now I hear you now, Salakia. All right, I have to come out and come back in, sir. Just get a call and mess up the audio.
All right, verse 13. Where is it? Verse 13. Jehu met with the brethren of Ahaziah, king of Judah, and said, Who are ye? And they answered, We are the brethren of Ahaziah, and we... Yabba?
Can, sir.
All right, 13.
Another one can. Verse 13. Jehu met with the brethren of Ahaziah, king of Judah, and said, Who are ye? And they answered, We are the brethren of Ahaziah, and we go down to salute the children of the king and the children of the queen.
Go on.
Another one can, verse 14. And he said, Take them alive. And they took them alive and slew them at the pit of the shearing house, even 42 men. Neither left he any of them.
All 42 men. Kill them off. Next.
Verse 15. And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said to him, Is thine heart right as my heart is with thy heart? And Jehonadab answered, It is. If it be, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up into the chariot.
16.
Verse 16. And he said, Come with me and see my zeal for the Lord. So they made him ride in his chariot.
Right. So Jehu knew Jehu wasn't just doing things haphazardly. Jehu knew that what he was displaying was a zeal for God, a zeal for the God of Israel, a zeal for Yahweh, right? And this was what gave him the push. He was not afraid to display zeal. So here we find now one man, Jehonadab, who said, Yeah, my heart is right with you. In other words, I'm on your side. And he said, All right, come with me and come and see my zeal for God. All right, go on.
Another one can. Verse 17. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed him, according to the saying of the Lord, which he spake to Elijah.
Nothing, there's no Israelite now you're going to find and say, this man is from the house of Ahab.
Right.
Everything kill out. Like him kill all the female them too. Continue.
Canada 1 Can, verse 18. And Jehu gathered all the people together and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much.
In other words, you're saying
Yeah.
Baal never used to serve Ahab much. I go and serve. In other words, what he basically telling the people is that he's going to serve Baal more than
Ahab. God.
Than Ahab. Right.
God.
Continue.
Canada 1 Can, verse 19. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants, and all his priests. Let none be wanting, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal. Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety, to the intent that he might destroy the worshippers of Baal.
Right. So he called out the people and said, all who's for Baal, we have some great things to do for Baal. Make sure you are here or you're going to die. People not knowing that what is going to kill them is being there.
Good.
Continue.
Canada 1 Can, verse 20. And Jehu said, proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. And they proclaimed it. Verse 20. Verse 21. And Jehu sent through all Israel, and all the worshippers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that came not. And they came into the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another.
Everybody
showed them true color.
Yeah.
God.
22.
Canada 1 Can, verse 22. And he said unto him that was over the vestry, bring forth vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And he brought them forth vestments.
So that now was to mark them.
God.
Put on a vest to say, you know, like you go to church, you dress a particular way. When it touch Sunday, you can actually look at the people and know who going to church, innit?
God.
Right. So that's what the vestment was. You know, who worshiping Baal. Continue.
God. Verse 23. And Jehu went, and Jehonadab, the son of Rechab, into the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal, search and look that there be here with you none of the servants of the Lord, but the worshippers of Baal only.
Make sure some other God people not in this place. Only Baal worshippers. Continue.
Canada 1 Can, verse 24. And when they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings, Jehu appointed 80 men without, and said, if any of the men whom I have brought into your hand escape, he that letteth him go, his life shall be for the life of him.
If you make him pass, you're gonna die. That's 80 men outside. All right, 25.
Canada 1 Can, verse 25. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of offering the burnt offering, that Jehu said to the guard and to the captain, go in and slay them, let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword. And the guard and the captains cast them out, and went to the city of the house of Baal.
Kill everything in there.
God.
That is how the Most High plan to do again. 26.
Canada 1 Can, verse 26. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal, and burned them.
27.
Verse 27. And they break down the image of Baal, and break down the house of Baal, and made it a draught house unto this day.
Right. So the house of Baal was destroyed totally. Read on.
Can everyone can? So, okay. Verse 28. Thus Jehu destroyed Baal out of Israel. Verse 29. Albeit from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, Jehu departed not from after them, to wit, the golden calves that were in Bethel and that were in Dan, Slakia, and that were in Dan, Slakia.
All right. So Jehu, you see that golden calf, that is more politics than religion. Meaning they what I mean Jeroboam brought in the golden calf, not because he wanted to worship golden calf, no, because he wanted to prevent his people from going to another country to worship a god. So in other words, the people might go down there and come back, or the people might turn away from him eventually. So this is the sin of Jeroboam, where you want to hold the people. It's just like some men leave the truth to go out. It's like politics. Going out, I put the men them out there in fringe on their t-shirt. Them know they should not be wearing no fringe on their t-shirt, you know. But they also know that they must not mess with the truth. But they want to collect the money. Jeroboam style that. All right, continue.
Verse 30. And the Lord said unto Jehu, because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes, and hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in mine heart, thy children of the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of Israel.
So you see, even though he didn't get rid of the golden calf, the Most High still made him a promise and said, because you have done my work the way I want it to be done. Now look at the terrible things that he want to do. He want to tell me now, say, God was satisfied with that. Of course he was. Because they, under Baal, brought evil on the Most High's people and on the Most High's priests and prophets. I mean, it's one of the worst things to do, you know, is to touch the Most High's priests and prophets, you know. That's an instant death sentence, you know. So you see the Most High proclaim certain things to him and they come and they fulfill, and who fulfill it now? Jehu. And the Most High promised him, say, I give him at least 4 generations on the throne of Israel. 31.
Verse 31. But Jehu took not heed to walk in the law of the Lord God of Israel with all his heart, for he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin.
All right, so when he said now with all his heart, meaning there were aspects of the laws which they follow, you know, and govern by, but they didn't follow the part that says, no, have no other God before me.
Right.
Because he was following, still walking in the footsteps of Jeroboam. Continue.
Verse 32. In those days, the Lord began to cut Israel short, and Azael smote them in all the coast of Israel.
Right, the Syrian. Maybe that's why Syria is so big now, you know. All them lands when take away from them time then. Still there in the country. Because, you know, since the Syrian war, we hear about the statue of Jonah. Nineveh was still around, you know. the town of Nineveh was still in Syria. Yeah. And Nineveh had a statue of Jonah, which in the last Syrian war, they desecrated the statue. And you can know why, because that statue would have been looking like a black man.
God.
Right? So they make sure they get rid of it. This is why you think you don't care about tourism. It's foolishness, you know. It's spyism. Because all they did was to go into Syria like they are tourists and spy out you're talking about some rural areas and so, you know, the nitty-gritty in the country. And they come and spy it out and see what history have holding. And they don't do anything when they see it, you know, they just take picture. Wow, dude, this is lovely. Pose beside it and all that. And next thing you know, you see the military march in the country.
God.
They are terrible, man. Continue.
Canada 1 Con, verse 33. From Jordan eastward, all the land of Gilead, the Gadites and the Reubenites and the Manassites, from Oriar, which is by the river of Arnon, even Gilead and Bashan.
34.
Verse 34. Now the rest of the acts of Jehu and all that he did and all his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the Kings of Israel?
35.
Verse 35. And Jehu slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria. And Jehoahaz, his son, reigned in his stead.
Continue.
Verse 36. And the time that Jehu reigned over Israel in Samaria was 28 years.
So Jehu got a good stretch, 28 years. Right? But he did not walk in these laws of the Lord like David did. All right, give me Zephaniah 2 and 11.
Canada 1 Con. Canada 1 Con. This is the book of Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 11. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth, and men shall worship him, every one from his place, even all the isles of the Eden.
All right, this was what Jehu was doing on a smaller scale within the land of Israel, right? The land of Samaria. Well, he wasn't in the town of Samaria, but he was in the northern kingdom. He went after the Baal worshippers. What he did, he famished Baal, tear down his idol, what they call it? Tear down his statues, all the gods that they had, you know, saying this is Baal and so on. Tear it down. And the Most High is telling you by the prophet Zephaniah that he's going to do it again. The Lord will be terrible unto them, for he will famish all the gods of the earth. So a time is going to come when he will, them other nations with them idols, they are going to be killed. You notice what Jehu did? Jehu didn't go and negotiate with them and say, you know, this is what I want you to do. I want you to stop worshiping Baal. He didn't negotiate with them, call them out, force them into a worship and into a sacrifice. and turn around and kill them. Yeah. That's how the Most High work. You think the Most High the thing he might come negotiate. And I'm a God of peace. I don't want you doing these things. Willie, are you going to stop doing these things? And they tell her, yes. And as about turn, they do it again. Nah, not so. The Most High is going to kill them out. All right, take me now to Revelation 19.
Can one can. Can one can.
Reading from where? 11. Yeah.
Can one can. This is the book of Revelations, chapter 19 and verse 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
He does judge and make what?
And make war.
Right. So this is what Christ is coming to do. Christ not coming to negotiate anything. 13.
Can one can, verse 13. And he was clothed with a vesture dipped in blood, and his name is called the Word of God.
Vesture dipped in blood. You notice, you remember, what was it that Jehu called to put on the Baal worshippers? Vesture, I would say a vestment.
Vesture, can.
Right, to put on their Baal worshipping vesture, to mark them. Well, Christ's vest that he's wearing will be marked because he's going to slay so much that his vesture is bloody. All right, drop down to 15.
Can one can, verse 15. And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty God.
All right, what do you mean by treading the winepress? What's a winepress? If you can find a definition for winepress.
A winepress is a device used to extract juice from crushed grapes during winemaking.
All right, so back in the days when this was written, how they extract the juice from the grapes, they used to have, like in a stone, huge stone, cut the holes in it, cut a big hole in it, put the grape in it, and they would trample it underfoot.
Right.
Right? Clean up them foot and go in and use them foot and step up on the grape. And it was calling treading. That was the treading. You use it to tread the wine press. Use your foot to stamp the grapes to extract the juice. It's not like now we have so many different juicers and things, juice extractors and blah blah. Those days you use your feet and you trample on the grapes and get out the juice. And the juice go one side, you put the juice one side to make wine. And the trash or what left off would go one side into the heap. Back to make whatever you're making on the ground, right? Fertilizer is what go turn to the ground. So this rider on the white horse, who is Christ, is coming to tread that wine press, because just like what the Most High said in Zephaniah, you're going to famish the gods. That's what Christ is coming to do. That's why his vest is dipped in blood. So all these nations that keep on, targeting the Most High's people with their false religion and things, telling us that we having the Most High tell us to separate. They're telling us that, but that is, what the man did say the other day? Racism. Says racism we're practicing. The one in Spanish Town.
The son of the Elamite.
Yeah.
Gone.
Right. I say, I mean racism. So everybody come now and tell we say we and them are one and we believe them and them they gone with the labor, they gone with everything. Yet when we say we are sticking to ourselves, it's racism.
Right.
You go to hell with that. So Christ is coming to indeed separate. Right? Give me drop down to give me 20 and 21.
Gun, verse 20. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast out.
This is like the witchcraft of Baal. They use these things to, whatever they use to deceive the people. So you see, this is the Most High. This is Christ now taking revenge on them other religions. Continue.
Right. With which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast, and them that worship his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone.
Into a lake of fire.
In God.
Right, so you know that is the nuclear destruction.
Right.
They are the ones who will be left to burn. 21.
Verse 21. And the remnant were slain with the sword of him that sat upon the horse, which sword proceed out of his mouth, and all the fowls were filled with their flesh.
So when that nuclear bomb drop on, who survived the nuclear bomb, Christ is going to take them life still.
Right.
Because of idolatry. And even when they have managed to survive that, it's still not over. Take me to Luke 19 and 27. Because the man with the right zeal for God is coming to do the work. And he's going to do a better work than Jehu, a better work than David, a better work than any one of them other man who has done works, zealous works. Any one of us that have done zealous works for the Most High. Christ is coming to do 10 times better, 100-fold, 1,000-folds better. All right, what I just tell you?
Luke 19 and 27.
Right.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 19, verse 27. But those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither and slay them before me.
Right. So even after they survive and they still don't want Christ reigning over them, Christ telling us, all of them, just carry them to me and kill them right before me. You see how Jehu killed 70 Ahab's son in one day? Not in one day, that come like a one night. Because the head was by Jehu by the next day, by daylight. Right? Kill them off, cut off the head and send it to him in a basket. Well, Christ is not asking you to do that. Christ said, bring him all before me and then you slay him before me. Because what? Him feel that Christ should not reign over him. All them idolatrous nations here, right, want to stick to their ways. And the Most High ways have no talk. Christ said, bring them and slay them before me. All right. Questions?
La, no question.
All right. So with that, we pass the class. So this is why we say now, today's date. And today's day. All right. This is Kappa Banat. Hello, sis. How are you? Welcome to our class. All right. Pumping up some zeal here for the Most High. Showing the people that you have to show your zeal for Christ, and then Christ is going to come and do the greater work. All right, sis. So with that, we pass the class to Priest and Officer Kayado.
All right, clap it up.
And to some of our online viewers, remember to fill out the class form, the attendance sheet.
All right, these are the ISUPK security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and the commanding General YAHANNA. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or a sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves off the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or a sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verse 8 to 10. Means tenth in the Hebrew, and is pronounced ma'ashara. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you'd like to give. Upcoming Holy Convocation, that is the memorial of the blowing of the trumpets. This is the first day of the 7th month, and that is Sunday, the 25th of September. So you can find this in the book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 24 to 25. Reminding Akyam and Akwatiam. Reminding Akyam and Akwatiam to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for I.S.U.P.K events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirt, pants, headband, or scarf. And with that, we say I-Madium, which means to stand. Sarvapanya Aquadam, which means turn and face the east. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew and then in English. Abanawa.
Abanawa.
Shabashamayam.
Shabashamayam.
Kwadash.
Kwadash.
Aya.
Aya.
Shamka.
Shamka.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Malakwatka.
Malakwatka.
Taba'a.
Taba'a.
Ratazaka.
Ratazaka.
Aya.
Aya.
Aisha.
Aisha.
Ba'arataza.
Ba'arataza.
Kawa.
Kawa.
Aya.
Aya.
Bashamayam.
Bashamaya.
Natanlanaw.
Natanlanaw.
Lakam.
Lakam.
Kal.
Ka.
Yawam.
Yawam.
Wasalaklanawa.
Wasalaklanaw.
Kawabwatnawa.
Kawabwatnaw.
Kasalaknawa.
Kasalaknaw.
Kawabwatyanawa.
Kawabwatyanaw.
Wala'a.
Wala'a.
Tabaya'anawa.
Tabaya'anaw.
Manasayawan.
Manasayawan.
Abal.
Abal.
Awashainawa.
Our shine now.
Mayan,
Mayan.
Rai,
Rai.
Kaya,
Kaya.
Laka,
Laka.
Amalakwat,
Hamalakwat.
Wa'ala,
Wahala.
Wa'ataparat,
Antapara.
La'aiwalamiam,
Iwalam.
Aman.
Amen. In English, our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive our debts.
Salakia, sir. Give us this day, Salakia, as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts,
As we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us
And
from
lead us
evil.
not into lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory.
For thine is the kingdom, and the power,
And the glory.
and the glory,
Forever so be.
forever so be.
Prayer for the curses. Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living.
Blessed are you, Yahweh, King of heaven and earth, and all things living.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh.
Listen to us now.
Listen to us now,
Right now.
right now.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction
to the heathen that speak against us,
to the heathen that speak against us,
thy prophets,
thy prophets,
the teachers,
the teachers,
the princes,
the princes,
the priests,
the priests,
the Israelite brothers and the school.
the Israelite brothers and the school.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen,
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the heathen,
and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel
and shake loose the treasure of the rich of Israel
that refuse to give to the school.
that refuse to give to the school.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Force their riches to enter into thy sanctuary.
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites
Send evils and curses and punishment and destruction to the Edomites
and the nations
and the nations
and their drug dealers,
and their drug dealers,
the court system,
the court system,
the prison system,
the prison system,
Planned Parenthood,
Planned Parenthood,
all the governments of our enemies,
all the governments of our enemies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Amalek synagogues and armies,
Roman Catholic Church,
Roman Catholic Church,
the Pope,
the Pope,
Islam,
Islam,
Christianity,
Christianity,
Egyptology,
Egyptology,
militia,
militia,
Ku Klux Klan,
Ku Klux Klan,
Aryan Nation,
Aryan Nation,
Skinheads,
Skinheads,
Pasi Komatazi,
Pasi Komatazi,
the gay movement,
the gay movement,
the lesbian movement,
the lesbian movement,
spies,
spies,
workers of witchcraft,
workers of witchcraft,
NASA space programs,
NASA space program,
Army,
Army,
Navy,
Navy,
Air Force,
Air Force,
Marines,
Marines,
Wall Street.
Wall Street.
Open up the internet and the airways,
Open up the internet and the airways,
the cable access channels and the radio channels.
the cable access channels and the radio channels.
Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us,
Convict the spirit of any of thy people that seek to stop us,
and bring swift destruction to all the heathen
and bring swift destruction to all the heathen
that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
that stand in the way or try to stop us from broadcasting your words
throughout the planet Earth.
through the planet Earth.
Let loose all the plagues.
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 Cause them to go to and fro.
Cause them to go to and fro.
Through the earth.
Through the earth.
And consume them.
And consume them.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let the plague shake the house of the thief and the murderer.
Let Yahawashai, Michael, and Gabriel.
Let Yahawashai, Michael, and Gabriel.
Come down with the flying saucers.
Come down with the flying saucers.
And punish all the heathens.
And punish all the heathens.
That come up against us as we speak thy word.
That come up against us as we speak thy word.
Cause it to be known by all that it is the angel that hath done it.
Cause it to be known by all that it is the angels that has done it.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Cause it to be spread through the media.
Throughout the whole world.
Throughout the whole world.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
Cause them to shake at thy coming.
In the name of Yahweh, I thank you always so be.
In the name of Yahweh, I thank you always so be. All right, this is the prayer for the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Basham Yahawashai.
Basham Yahawashai.
Baba Kwasha.
Baba Kwasha.
Nathan Lanawa.
Nathan Lanawa.
Akak.
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 Larapa'a.
Larapa'a.
Kalmakala.
Kalmakala.
Wakal Madawa.
Wakal Madawa.
Akak.
Akak.
Lata'a.
Lata'a.
Amatazarayam.
Amatazare.
Akak.
Akak.
La Aquayam.
La Aquayam.
Amatyam.
Amatyam.
Akak.
Akak.
Irakawat.
Irakawat.
Atama'ala.
Atamala.
Lagarashan.
Lagarashan.
Basham Yahawashai.
Basham Yahawashai.
THAWADAH.
THAWADAH. In English, Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashai, please give us the power.
Yahweh, in the name of Yahawashai, please give us the power.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to cleanse the lepers.
The power to raise the dead.
The power to raise the dead.
The power against unclean spirits.
The power against unclean spirits.
To cast them out in the name of Yahawashai.
To cast them out in the name of Yahawashai.
Thank you, so be.
Thank you, so be. All right, this is the prayer for the blessings to bless Israel. Yahweh.
Yahweh.
Basham Yahawashai.
Basham Yahawashai.
Barak Lanawa.
Barak Lanawa.
Wayasharala.
Wayasharala.
Wa'a.
Waha.
Wayatapariam.
Wayatapariam.
Barak.
Barak.
Rapa'a.
Rapa'a.
Magan.
Magan.
Hagan.
Hagan.
Commanding General Yahanna.
Commanding General Yahanna.
The generals.
The generals.
The captains.
The captains.
The officers.
The officers.
The troopers.
The troopers.
The young men and the sisters.
The young men and the sisters.
Basham Yahawashai.
Basham Yahawashai.
THAWADAH.
THAWADAH. All right, what we have just said in English, Yahweh, or Lord, in the name of Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh, in the name of Jesus, bless us and Israel and the school. Bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones. In the name of Jesus, and in the name of Yahweh. Thank you, so be.
All right, Sarah, which means to turn. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, I.M.A.D.U. Shabbat, I.M.A.D.U. Barak, Yahweh, Basham Yahawashai Barakatah,
Yahweh Basham Yahawashai Barakatah,
Yadamata. We're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters, men of Israel, I.M.A.D.U. Shabbat, I.M.A.D.U. Barak, Yahweh Shamar Alatan Ba Sham Yahweh Shai. Yadamata. Class dismissed.
All right, so tomorrow we'll link up, sir.
Can, yeah man, can sir.
All right, so to our online viewers, remember to pay your tithes, ISUPK.com, pay your tithes. Like, subscribe, share our videos. What else? And the,
subscribe to the channel.
Subscribe to the, and the online class attendance, fill it out. Shalom until we meet again.
Shalom.